Hello, and welcome to the Chatterbox Letters podcast. I'm going to be reading my very large chatter-like letter to my listeners. This book, aka Holes, I hope you will enjoy as I read Holes in audio format. I will be reading chapter by chapter, so it seems interesting as you are curious to know the entire story. Introducing Holes by Louis Sachar. I am on chapter 28. Here it goes. After 20 years, Kate Barlow returned to Green Lake. It was a place where nobody would ever find her. A ghost town on a ghost lake. The peach trees had all died, but there were a couple of small oak trees still growing by an old abandoned cabin. The cabin used to be an eastern shore on the lake. Now the edge of the lake was 5 miles away, and it was little more than a small pond filled with dirty water. She lived in a cabin. Sometimes she could hear Sam's voice echoing across the emptiness. Onions, sweet fresh onions. She knew she was crazy. She knew she'd be crazy for the last 20 years. "Oh, Sam," she would say, speaking into vast emptiness. "I know it was hot, but I feel very cold. My hands are cold. My feet are cold. My face is cold. My heart is cold." And sometimes when she hear him say, "I can fix that," and she'd feel warm, arm across her shoulders. She'd been living in the cabin about 3 months, when she was awakened one morning by someone kicking open the cabin door. She opened her eyes to see the blurry end of a rifle 2 inches from her nose. She could smell Trout Walker's dirty feet. "You've got exactly 10 seconds to tell me where you've hidden your loot," said Trout, "or else I blow your head off." She yawned. A red-headed woman was there with Trout. Kate could see her ramping through the cabin, dumping drawers and knocking things from the shelves of the cabinets. The woman came to her. "Where is it?" she demanded. "Linda Miller?" asked Kate. "Is that you?" Linda Miller had been in the 4th grade when Kate Barlow was still a teacher. She had been a cute, freckled-faced girl with beautiful red hair. Now her face was blotchy and her hair was dirty and shaggy. "It's Linda Walker now," said Trout. "Oh, Linda, I'm sorry," said Kate. Trout jabbed her throat with the rifle. "Where is the loot?" "There is no font," said Kate. "No loot," said Kate. Trout jabbed her throat with the rifle. "Where's the loot?" "There is no loot," said Kate. "Don't give me that," shouted Trout. You've robbed every bank from here to Houston. You better tell him, said Linda. We're desperate. You married him for his money, didn't you? Asked Kay. Linda nodded. But it's all gone. It all dried up in the lake. The peach trees, the livestock, I kept thinking it was the rain. It's going to rain soon. The drought can't last forever. But it just kept getting hotter and hotter and hotter. Her eyes fixed on the shovel, which was leaning up against the fireplace. She hurried it up, she declared. I don't know what you're talking about, said Kate. There was a loud blast as Trout fired his rifle above her head. The window behind her shattered. Where it was blurred, he demanded. Go ahead and kill me, Trout, said Kate. But I sure hope you like to dig, 'cause you going to digging for a long time. You're going to be digging a long time. It's a big, vast wasteland out there. You and your children and their children can dig for the next 100 years and you'll never find it. Linda grabbed Kate's hair and jerked it back her head. Oh, we're not going to kill you, she said. But the time we're finished with you, you're going to wish you were dead. I've been wishing I was dead for the last 20 years, said Kate. They dragged her out of her bed and pushed her outside. She wore blue silk pajamas. The turquoise-studded black boots remained beside her bed. They loosely tied her legs together so she could walk, but she couldn't run. They made her walk barefoot on the hot ground. They wouldn't let her stop walking, not until you take back the loot, said Trout. Linda hit Kate on the back of her legs with the shovel. You're going to take us to it sooner or later, so you might as well make it sooner. She walked one way, then the other, until her feet were blackened and blistered. Whenever she stopped, Linda whacked her with the shovel. I'm losing my patience, warned Trout. She felt the shovel jab her back, and she fell onto her head. She fell hard on the dirt. Get up, ordered Linda. Kate struggled to her feet. We're being easy on you today, said Trout. It's just to keep getting worse and worse for you until you take it, or you can take us to it. Look, shouted Linda. A lizard harped towards them. Kate could see its big red eyes. Linda tried to hit it with the shovel, and Trout shot at it, but they both missed. The lizard landed on Kate's bare ankle. Its sharp black teeth bit into her leg. Its white tongue wrapped around the droplets of blood that leaked out of the wound. Kate smiled. There was nothing they could do. to her any more. Start digging, she said. Where is it? Linda screeched. Where'd you bury it? Trout demanded. Kate Barlow died laughing. Well, I understand that. We are almost on part 2 of the last hole, but I understand Kate started laughing because they were basically talking out their heads. That's the way I see it. If you have a chatter letter that you would like to have broadcast on my podcast, please send it to the Chatterbox Letters Podcast, Post Office Box 5556, Lakeland, Florida 33807. You can write whatever you want to write about in your chatter letter. Please keep it clean, your words clear and discreet. And please do not hesitate to send me your chatter letter. You always will procrastinate and send your chatter letter to me today.